What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today we've got another Transformer review. We're going to be taking a look at the Flame Toys Kuri Optimus Prime. So I've been waiting for this one. It was a little bit difficult to find, but I was able to get my hands on one. So that's what we're taking a look at today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go! So let's take a look and see what this guy has to offer. So first, we do have the manual. All right, so we got the manual there. There we have, it looks like we've got Optimus Prime there with the, looks like the backpack there, the sword, and this looks like the stand for the sword. So we've got that there. Let's move that over there. Then we have the power axe. Looks very familiar. So you got the power axe or whatever, and then you got the two hands here. So we've got that. We have his dual blades here and here. We have the two other axes there with his gun there. And it looks like we've got a bunch of alternate hands. So we've got those. And then we have his base. So a pretty nice looking base. So that's what we've got in the box. So let's take a look at the manual next. So let's take a look at this manual here. So of course, you know, it's interesting that I was able to find this. So of course you've got your parts counts here. So of course you've got Convoy or Optimus Prime with all the stuff that we just went over. So we've got that. Now this does look like it's actually in English, so we won't have any issues there. So we've got that. Now, you know, the thing that's interesting is that I found this, like, usually when I recommend stuff on my channel, I don't recommend stuff that I don't personally believe in. And I know in the Sky Atlas reviews, a couple people were upset with me in that video. And, you know, but the thing is, I never recommend anybody buy anything that I'm not necessarily willing to buy myself. So, you know, so you've got that. Looks pretty, you know, pretty familiar. So, that's good. So that's what we've actually got for the manual. So not too much. This one actually doesn't transform, so we don't actually have to worry about that. So now let's take a look at Optimus Prime himself. So let's take a look at this guy. So of course, like I've said before, he does look rather similar. Now, of course, for me, the first thing that really stands out with him is that this is more of a gloss finish. So he's got a gloss finish there. He's got the embossed Autobot symbol there, and the same for the chest there. Even though this, for whatever reason, and I've seen this on all the versions of this, it always looks like that insignia is a little squished to me. I don't know, but so you got that. You've got, look at this head detail. Let's take a look here. So let's take a look at this head detail. So of course the eyes are not dead. You got a lot of detailing in here. The ears don't look like they move though. So you've got that there. So he's got quite a bit here. Now I know he does have lights on this guy. I think they're on the knees and the eyes and this here. So you've got that. You've also got a two-tone red here with this here. So you've got a lot of stuff going on here. All right, and then of course the feet look great. Okay, and of course we'll go more in depth in the articulation section, but I just wanted you guys to take a look at him. So he actually does look quite good. I don't have the backpack on him just yet. We'll actually do that here in a little bit. And then it does look like back shoulder part. You can kind of see the ball joint here. And I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not. So I don't know. But overall, I think it does look good. Of course, the Sky Atlas looks very, very similar to this. And we will be doing a comparison with that later on in the video. But we just wanted to take a look at some of the detail. It does look really, really good. So next, let's actually get into accessories. Next, so let's take a look at his accessories. So of course, first up, we have his sword. Now, I'm actually not sure what this is actually from, as I know that this Optimus Prime is kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different Optimus Primes. Because to me, at first glance, this looks like the Star Saber from Transformers Prime. And I'm not really sure if this is like just their take on it or whatever, but it actually is pretty big. So, you know, it does stand taller than him. So you've got that. So you got that for the sword. And then next you actually have the stand for the sword. So I guess this is where you could put this in. And this is also why this reminds me of Star Saber, because I remember him having to pull that out. Now, of course, Star Saber is a character in the Japanese version and also in the IDW version, but for the Transformers Prime version, they called the sword the Star Saber. So that's what you got there. So, but yeah, so you've got the stand there. So that's what you have for the sword. And then we actually have the backpack for him. So of course, this is also in a gloss finish there. So you've got that, you've got the two-tone red here. Looks like you have the clip probably for the sword there. You do have the thrusters. The thrusters will move up and down. It doesn't look like, okay, yeah, it does turn. All right, so it does turn that way. And then of course for the wings, those can go all the way to the front and these can go all the way to the back. And then of course that's the clip part there. Now, in all transparency, this figure that I bought, this is actually is not a new figure. I had to buy this used because, and I'll explain why here towards the end of the video. But yeah, so this is actually a used one. So these actually do feel a little loose. I don't know if that's how that's normally supposed to be, or if that's because this is a little bit older. So I'm not sure, but overall it still looks really, really good. So that's what you got for the backpack. And then we actually have his ion blaster. So of course this actually looks like this extends out in two directions. So that seems like that's a lot, super, super long, but you've got that there. So that does look good. It looks like you have two cone colors. You got a blue here with the gunmetal gray here. And then you've got that there. So you've got that. And that is your ion cannon. And then you actually have his dual axes. So these you did not get in the Sky Atlas. There's a couple of these and we'll do that comparison later. But you've got that. You've got a lot of good detail in here. So you've got that on the thrusters there. You got some translucent blue here. With the gunmetal there for the two handles. So that's what you have for his two dual axes. And then you actually have his dual blades. I know this is supposed to be an homage to the Bay version Optimus Prime, because I remember him having dual blades kind of like this, or at least one. So you've got that. So this is actually very nice. It has a very nice translucent yellow in there, and it looks like it does go in and out here. It looks like this is probably your plug for your hands there. So that's what you've got for your dual blades. And then of course we actually have the big old axe or the power axe. So actually this looks almost exactly the same. The Sky Atlas one does look almost exactly the same. But yeah, so you've got a lot of good gold detailing in here and here with your silvers, and then your gunmetal grays in here. So you've got that. You actually have two extension parts for him, which are these here. We would just take these, put this in here like that, and then we'll take this and we'll put this in here like that, boom. And that's actually quite long as well. That's actually probably taller than the sword. So yeah, so you've got it here. So of course that's way taller than the sword and taller than him as well. Let's actually move the camera up so you can see how tall that is compared to him. So pretty big. So that's what you have for the axe. And then we actually have his face plates. So of course I will be very interested in seeing how those actually go on. He actually does have the same kind of like color of eyes, because it actually looks like it's painted silver on the eyes, but this was all solid one piece on the Sky Atlas as far as the color. So it looks like he's got like a grayish blue tint there, and then you can see the detail with the teeth there. And so you've got that, and then that's actually the back. Looks very similar, right? And then of course we've got the other one, so that's the closed mouth. See if we can get that to focus there. There we go. So you got the closed mouth, and then that one looks the same as well. So you've got that as well. So those are what you have for the alternate faces. And then he also has quite a few hands. He's got 7 sets total. So of course he's got the 2 closed fists that are on him. Then he's got his 2 wide open hands. So we see that pretty regularly. So he's got 2 of those for the left and right. So he's got those. Then he has these semi-open hands. So that's a little bit more of a different look for the hands. So he's got 1 set of those. And then he has the classic finger pointing hands. We see that a lot as well. So you've got those. And then you have these hands. Now he's got 3 sets of hands for like his weapons. So you've got these. So as a slightly open finger, this looks like a trigger hand there. So you've got those. And then these are slightly different. These are, if you look at this hand here, it goes in a L shape to where the other one was kind of curved and a little outward. So you've got these. So you've got that set. And then you have this set. So this is the last set. So of course, as you see now, like those 2 fingers are not touching. So you've got all of those for all his different weapons, and we'll try those out here in a little bit. So that's what you have for the hands. So actually, that is pretty much all he has for his accessories. And so now we will actually take a look at Optimus Prime's articulation. So next, let's actually take a look at his articulation. Now for the shoulder, of course, he can rotate this 360. So he's got that. He's actually got these stacks here, and you can actually pull these stacks out. Those will actually come off. So you got those there. And then these will also, the sides will actually flare out a little bit that way. So that can flare out, and same with the back. So those will flare out that way. So you've got that for the shoulder. How high can he raise it? He can go pretty hard. As you see, he's hitting his head there. So he's got that up pretty high. So let's take a look so you can see that there. So that's pretty high. So you've got that for the shoulder. Now for the bicep, he can actually spin this 360, okay? You got a lot of detail work in here as well. He also has an elbow bend. So you got the elbow bend there. And then for the forearm, he can actually spin this 360. So he's got that there. For the wrist, he actually has a pretty wide range of movement there. So you've actually got that. So you've got quite a bit of range of motion for the wrist. That's actually pretty impressive. Also, if you look here, when you actually raise the wrist, that part will actually simulate that pipe moving. So that's what you've got for the wrist. And then for the head, he actually does have a pretty wide range of movement. So of course he can look up, he can look down, way down, okay? What? Okay, side to side. So he's got that. Now, can he actually turn 360? He can, however, I wouldn't chance it. And the reason why is, let's turn him around here and let's look at this back here. So as you see, since he has light up eyes, he has a wire that's going on the back here. And if you actually try to turn that, what'll happen is you'll end up pinching this wire, or you'll turn it and you'll kind of mess that up. Even though the light still works, I probably wouldn't do that too often. So, but he can spin it pretty far. So of course he can actually spin it. He can spin it almost 180. So that's not too bad considering But yeah, without that wire there, he definitely could spin at 360. He also has a pretty tall neck there, so I think that gives him a lot more range of movement there than normal. So that's what you've got for the head. And then for the chest area, of course, you can open these up as well. So you can say you want to open that one up first, and you want to open this middle part up. Hold on, let me get something, open up this middle part there. So that shows the matrix. To my knowledge, this is not removable, so you can't do that. And then also for the lights, you can actually turn the lights on there. And we'll actually go through the lighting here in a little bit. So that's what you've got there for the chest area. Now, for his torso, he actually does have a pretty good ab crunch there. So of course he can go all the way down like that. He can go, then he can go all the way up like that there. So he's got a pretty good ab crunch there. Now, he can spin this probably about 45 degrees, but that's about it, because what happens is he's actually hitting this bottom part here. So you've got that, but he can spin it. Now, can he act, does he have any side? The actual articulation for the sides actually come at the upper torso, not the lower torso, which is interesting. So you'd actually have to grab it by the top, and he can kind of slide like that. And then you've got the same for the other side as well. So that's actually where that ab crunch articulation to the side actually happens, is right there. So that's what you have for the midsection. And then for the waist section, nothing spectacular here. Of course, he's got the front skirts, and those can move up there. Okay, so you do move those. Those can move up and down a little bit. So can the ones on the side. So you've got that can raise up kind of like that and raise down like that. And then for the back, these can also flip up as well, but you're not gonna get super good articulation out of there, but you've got enough there so you can actually do something with. And then this one, the actual side here, looks like it's a little floppy. So, but you can move that, so that does give it some tilting. I don't know if it's supposed to do that, or if it's or if it's because this one is a older version. So that's what you've got for the back skirt. Then for the thighs, of course, he does have some good detail and work in here. So you've got that, it looks like a bronze almost. And so you can, for the thigh, you can actually spin this about 90 degrees, okay, on both directions there, okay. And then we can actually, let's raise his leg as well. So he's got about 90 degrees. Could he go up higher? A little bit more, but it's gonna get probably this front skirt will end up popping off more than likely. Now, this is where things get interesting on the knee, right? So of course he does have a knee bend. All right, and you actually see how that mechanism moves like that. Let's do that again. So you see that, and then moves that down just like that. So that's his knee bend, and he can actually go further than that, okay? And then he can actually raise this up as well. So this can actually go all the way up like that there. So that's what you've got there. Now, I will say about his knees, because I do know that there's been multiple versions of this Optimus Prime from Flame Toys. And I'm not talking about the bootlegs or anything like that, but just like, I know they had a reissue a couple of times. Now the thing about this leg is the knees for me. The knees are slightly floppy, and I know that is a problem. I've heard of that problem with I guess the original versions of this Flame Toys Optimus Prime. So I wish that was a little bit tighter, because that just seems very, very floppy there. So I'm not really a big fan of that, but you can hold it. You just kind of have to kind of lock it in place like that. But it just seems like it's just a little floppy to me. So that's what you've got for the knees. And then for the feet, he's actually got a ball joint here. So he's got a ball joint here, and he's got a ball joint in here that you can't really see, but you can actually move this foot up. So the foot will go up like that. Now unfortunately, you don't get any downward movement, because this is one solid piece, unfortunately, but you do get some rock, so you can rock it from side to side, okay? And of course, this entire mechanism here is die cast as well. So that's what you have for the foot. Now, can he actually do the splits? The answer is, for the most part, yes. For the most part, yes, he can. At least he can get it as well as some other ones. So that's what you've got there. And then on the side of the calves, you actually can pull these out. So this can go in and out. So you can take those off as well. So that's what you have for articulation. So he has pretty good range of motion. So let's see if we can get him into some sort of pose here. So we'll put this up here. And him in a boxing pose like that there. And we'll move this up here. And we'll take that, punch that in there. So he's got pretty good range of movement there. So that's what he looks like. Pretty good articulation. Have I seen better? Yes, but I think that this is also still pretty good. So that's what we have for articulation. Now let's actually put some of his weapons on him. So I wanted to show you what he actually looked like with all of his actual weapons on. So of course he's holding one of the axes there. He's got the dual blades on the side, so you have room for that. You have the ion cannon here at the back, and then you have this sword that's kind of snapped on to the back as well. And then of course he's holding the big power axe. So really the only one that he's missing that he cannot hold is the other axe. So this is the only one that I don't have connected to him. But you know, overall, I still think that that's actually pretty cool. So the fact that he can actually hold all of his actual weapons on him. So I just wanted to let you guys see what he actually looked like with that on. So now we'll actually take a look at his lighting effects next. So let's actually take a look at his lighting effects. Now the first ones that he has is he's got the ones on the knees here. So what you do is you actually take this and pull this off here. And let's see if we can get that to focus. There we go. And what he's got is he's got a slider button there. And then so what you would do is you just do that and then turn that on, okay? And these take a total of 7 batteries. To light all of the lighting effects that he has. So that's what you have for the knees, and then you can just kind of slide this in there like that. Put that back in there real quick. All right, just like that. So that's what you have for the knees. Now, for the chest plate, of course you would lift these up here, and then you're gonna lift up this middle one here. See if I can, there we go, get this one out. And then to my knowledge, this matrix does not actually come out, which is okay. I'm okay with that, but to me it does look like it's upside down for whatever reason. So that's always been kind of like, I'm like, why would you do that? Like it would have been easily just to flip that, you know, upside down or whatever, but I don't know. So anyway, so you've got that. So now for the top half, he actually has 2 buttons. And let's see if I can turn this around and show you here. So he's got 2 here. So he's got this button here and this button here, and both of them do different things, okay? So that's where your actual buttons are. And then let me turn this guy back around here so we can actually see. And then what we'll do is we'll cut off his lights. So let me cut off the front lights here. So you can see, so now I only got the back lights on. So what we'll do is we'll hit the one on the right first. And as you see, that lights that up there. So you've got that there. Now I want you to look at his face here. Look at his eyes. And we're gonna hit the second button. And then of course the matrix comes out and the eyes come out. Now, I don't know if that picks up on the camera. I know it looks maybe like a little more white, but to your actual eye, it looks very, very blue. Now, for all of those that are doing lighting effects for the face, this is how you do the eyes. You want your eyes to glow pretty bright like that. And I think that out of all of the figures that I have that you can actually lighten up the eyes, this is probably the best well-lit eyes that I've seen thus far. I think that is really, really good. And I wish that a lot of other places would do this. Now, I will say, especially since I bought the Sky Atlas first before I actually got this one, that I do like the fact that that one was magnetized for the chest. Now, maybe you can't do that for the head and the knees, but I wish they had done that as well. And so actually, let's turn on the knee parts as well. So what I can do is get this, because there's not really any way to do this. Gotta get your finger in there. Same on this side. Get your finger in there. All right. And then, so he is lit up like that. So that's what he's got for his lighting effects. I would say that this is actually really, really good. I think that it looks very, very well done. The lights, it does take 7 of them. I think it was 3 in the back, and then I want to say 2 in the front on both knees. So you got 2 here, that's 4, and then yeah, 3 is 7. So that's what you have for that. Now, even without being able to do that, as far as hide the wire, all that, well, I still think that it's very, very well done. So that's what I have for his lighting and gimmicks. Now let me bring out Sky Atlas and we'll compare both of those side by side. So next, I actually wanted to compare the two, the Flame Toys and the Sky Atlas. And now, of course, with mine, I actually have done some of the adjustments that I was talking about in that video. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out on the channel. But now that I have them in front of me, some of the differences are pretty apparent, even though I would say that none of them are really major. First thing that I would notice is a big difference is the difference in texture in the plastic that they used, and the fact that this Flame Toys this is gloss, and then this is matte. Now in the biceps, these are both matte here and here. Okay, so those are both the same, but you kind of have difference in contrast as far as gloss finish and matte finish. So you've got gloss here, but you've got matte here. You got matte up here, you got matte here, but you've got gloss down here. And so that's one of the first differences that I see. Now, of course, I talked about this in the Sky Atlas video, but also the fact that this one, the Autobot symbol is embossed, to where this is a sticker that I actually put on there, okay? So you've got that, and then the same for the centerpiece as well. And then the next that sticks out to me is the face. So let's see if we can bring both of these up here so you can see, all right? So of course, this is the Sky Atlas one, and then this is the Flame Toys one. Now, the one thing that I see that's the most difference to me is, number one, the eyes, because the eyes here are like silver, but I guess the light will actually show through very well on these, to where on the Sky Atlas, I actually painted those eyes metallic blue. And I don't know if you can see that. Hold on, let's see. So to where with the Sky Atlas one, I actually painted these, but also it has some detail in the eyes in the Flame Toys that this one doesn't have. It also has details on the side. Now, can you paint those details in, and could you probably etch those details into this faceplate? Sure, you could, I imagine, but why should you have to, right? Compared to this one is silver in here, and so his eyes don't look dead. And then also he's got some detail, looks like towards the bottom of the chin there. He's got some detail here and here. All right, so he's got that. So even though the ears don't move, you've got that. And then looks like this is die cast for the neck, to where the neck is totally different on the Sky Atlas one. So, you do have some differences. Now, next, let's actually take a look at the chest plate, right? So you take a look at the chest plate, we want to see if there's any differences there. So let's lift this up here, and then let me get my little tool here to raise that up. And then let's raise this one up as well. Okay. And then we can lift this one up as well. To my eye, the difference between this is going to be relatively minor, but I will say, number one, the matrix here has way more detail on the Flame Toys one than the Sky Atlas there. Also, the silver paint here, this is more of a chrome silver, to where this is more of a flat silver. And then also the fact that this matrix does like to come out to where, you know, that's a crystal clear piece of plastic or glass there. And it also likes to come out like it just did right there. To where this one almost looks like it has like a jewel in it. So the detail definitely goes to the Flame Toys one, but this isn't bad. And like I said, could you actually fix that? You absolutely could, but it's gonna take some work, you know? And if you're not someone who's like really well versed in model building and how to do this stuff, you're probably not gonna wanna spend the time to do that. So I had to make an edit here because unfortunately, when I went to go turn these lights on for the chest for the Sky Atlas, it wouldn't work, and that's because the batteries are already dead. So now in Sky Atlas's defense, the batteries are much, much smaller for this light than they are for these. So, you know, I am a little surprised that it's dead already, because really I haven't touched it or even turned it on since I did the review, which was what, 2-3 months ago. But yeah, unfortunately the light is dead for these, and unfortunately the batteries I don't have anymore. So we'll have to go on to the next difference that I see. So the next difference that I see, even though like the detail for the midsection is quite similar, and this is painted silver, to where on the Flame Toys, this is actually like a sky blue here. So that's actually another difference. Also, this is more of like a gunmetal gray versus this gray. It just, the finish on the Flame Toys just looks better overall. Now, for the actual front skirts, if you look at the front skirts here, even though it's roughly the same color, almost like a gold copper look on the Sky Atlas, on the Flame Toys, if I can grab it here, on the Flame Toys one, that's actually like a piece of plastic, and like there's like a gold back piece to that. So you can actually, so that's like translucent versus this, to where this is just painted. So you've got that detail there. But other than that, it's pretty much similar. Also the fact that this part usually falls out a lot, the mid section there. So that's what you've got for those. Now the feet and stuff are pretty much the same. I would say that this is slightly a darker blue than the Flame Toys, but overall, I don't really see anything else. Now, I will say that there is one thing that I really like about the Sky Atlas more than the Flame Toys, and that is the actual articulated hands. Out of all the hands that they gave us for the Flame Toys one, we don't have articulated hands, and actually these hands are really, really good. So I really did like this on the Sky Atlas. And then as far as like the actual skeletal structure, this one does have die cast, but it's very sparingly. You have some die cast in here and here, but it looks like it's plastic in the center, to where if you look at the Flame Toys one, that's die cast all the way through here. And then of course the knees are all die cast, to where this one is plastic. Same with the ankles, die cast versus plastic. So that's what you have for the main differences that I see off the top of my head here. But other than that, it's a pretty decent replica of the Flame Toys. I would just say that the detail is better on the Flame Toys just overall. The die cast does help it some, but that's not the end all be all for a lot of people. So, you know, so you've got that there. So that's pretty much the main differences. Oh, actually, there's one here too, to where you've got this like two-tone, you got like sky blue here and here, to where on the Sky Atlas, that is a solid gray here and here. Now, like I said, are those huge differences? The answer is no. All of the things that I've pointed out, for the most part, can be fixed on the Sky Atlas if you're willing to take the time to actually do it And you know, the fact that the Flame Toys one has more weapons and all that, but I'm not really gonna deal with the weapons because the weapons are pretty much the same. Yeah, so the main thing that the Flame Toys has over the Sky Atlas is the quality. The plastic quality is better, the paint finish is better. You know, you can take it or leave it whether you like matte finish or gloss finish. But you know, I just think that the overall product is better for the Flame Toys than the Sky Atlas. Can the Sky Atlas get some of the visual improvements that I talked about? Absolutely, if you're willing to put in the work. And to be honest, I don't think it would take that much effort in trying to fix this guy up. If you are a decent painter, you know, you would have to mask some of this in order to get that kind of two-tone color there. And then if you wanted to actually break this apart and paint it with a more of a chrome finish than the gray that you have, you know, because like even for like the back of the knees where this is all die cast here to where this is plastic here. So next we're actually going to change out the face plates. As you know, that was a big point of contention for the Sky Atlas, is the fact that the face plates were terrible and that they don't really go in all that well. So we're definitely gonna try that on the Flame Toy. So we're gonna see how that works next. So next, we actually wanna see how difficult or easy it is to take off the faceplate. So first things first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, and actually let me get my little thing out here. We're gonna take this off. All right, so we're gonna take that off and we're gonna pull that out. All right, so we're gonna pull that out, and then we're actually going to lift this up here, and then we're gonna see if we can slide this face off. See, all right, and that slides off just like that. Let's put the cracked one on. So let's take that and then we'll slide this in here. All right, so that goes in there just like that. And then we'll take the front piece, put that in there just like that. Boom, all right. So that's what he looks like with the cracked mask on. So as you see, that is how it should be as far as getting it off. And then let's see if the lights actually still work. I'm pretty sure that they do. Yep, so that's what you got for the lights there. So still looks pretty good. So that's what you have for the actual face mask and how you actually put the alternate mask on there. So looks pretty sweet to me. So that's what we've got for the face plate. Now let's get into final thoughts. So last thoughts on this guy, you know, the more I mess with him, the more I liked him. Now, especially since I have the Sky Atlas already, and even though I definitely had problems with that figure, to see the original kind of, I can see why this is such a sought after design. I think that it's very, very well done. The detail in it is spectacular. I like the mix of matte and gloss finish versus just being all gloss or all matte. I really do like that. The color detail is great. The amount of weapons, I really like that huge sword, especially being a Japanese anime fan, especially when it comes to robots, swords are a very big part of that. And so it's always nice to have a big sword. You know, the axes are great. The swords are really good that he has on his sides. Now the big axe, I will say that I don't really like the fact that the big axe, to me, the hands that they have for that axe, to me, doesn't really fit all that well. I thought that it could be a little bit better done because that axe is pretty heavy. And also the fact that with all the different hands that we got for this guy, we don't have any articulated hands. And I think they kind of dropped the ball with that, especially because of the Sky Atlas. That was actually a really good point with that one, was the articulated hands, because you could do so much more with it than these kind of fixed pose hands. I like having both, but actually throwing in, you're already given us 7 pairs of hands. Why not throw in a articulated hand so you can kind of have those as well? So, you know, overall, I think it's very, very, very good. The die cast that's in it. Now, I will say that some of the parts I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that I thought that the knees were a little loose. Now, whether that's because I bought this one used, I did not buy this one brand new, and I'll kind of get into why in a second, but it seemed like the knees were just really kind of floppy. Now, is it really bad? No. And I've been told, because apparently that was an issue with the first one, where I guess a lot of people were complaining about that. And for me, I don't know, like it doesn't really hinder it from doing anything as far as its posing and things like that. And some people say that that's how it was actually supposed to be, so you could get more articulation out of it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've read, and that's what I've seen in other reviews, and it seems like that was kind of done on purpose. I still would have liked them to be a little bit tighter, though. I'm not going to lie to you. But, you know, but overall, I think that this is very, very good. And, you know, it's interesting how I even came into getting this figure, because once I did the Sky Atlas, and I was kind of disappointed on that, but I was like, oh, I'll use it as a canvas, like I said in that video. You know, you can kind of use it and kind of detail it the way that you want. And to where with this one, you really don't need to do that. But the thing about this one was, I was going to get it from D4 Toys, like I get a lot of my stuff, and they wanted $400, which I was expecting, but they actually, in order to ship it to the United States, they wanted to charge me $100 for that. And for me, that it kind of hit my ceiling. I thought that that was too high for that. 400, okay, I could stomach that, even though, would you say it's worth $400? I mean, I can see it. I would say maybe 350. 353 would, I think, would have been the sweet spot, but I guess maybe with all the lighting gimmicks and stuff like that, they are going to usually charge a little bit more for that. So, you know, 350, you know, I would have tried to get some, you know, some kind of money, discount for that or something. But, you know, 4 is high, but then you want to charge me $100 to ship it? Nah, I'm not with that. That's way too high to me as far as shipping is concerned. But you do have a plethora of different things. And so anyways, I didn't think I was going to be able to review him because that shipping was too high. And to be honest, I really didn't want to buy a used figure. I have bought used figures in the past, but you know, they can be a crapshoot depending on the previous owner. Sometimes they're perfect, you know, and then sometimes they're extremely messed up. So you're always taking a chance, especially on figures that cost this much money. You know, you're always going to be a little leery when you have to buy it used. But I actually ended up getting this guy for about $350, which, like I said, was right around in that sweet spot for me. And the fact that it came with the big axe, I really thought it was a great deal. And of course, it didn't cost me, you know, $100 to ship it, even though it did come from Asia. So, you know, overall, out of 10, I'm going to give this guy a 9.2. I think he's really, really good. To me, this is everything that the Sky Atlas one should have been. The thing that the Sky Atlas one has over this is just the fact of the sheer height and the articulated hands. Other than this, the Flame Toys beats it in every way, in my personal opinion. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.